What's up, YouTube? It's Toby from Team S to Win, coming at you with a Cardfight Vanguard deck profile. Somebody in one of their comments wanted to end up seeing my Dark Irregular deck that I was running against Angel Feather, so decided to do it today. You're welcome. Shout out to you. Don't want to say your name. You know, I don't want to get my video demonetized. So, yeah. I've taken this deck to ARG Raleigh, I believe it was, where I placed 9th, but was screwed out of a top 8 spot by 2 of my teammates because they got draws, so tiebreakers were better. But, you know, I'm not salty about that. All right, I run 3 potential starters. I always end up putting out the ranged singular. When you stride, put him into your soul, all grade 1s or more, draw 2 cards. Whenever you soul charge, he becomes a darkness. His darkness procs, he becomes a 7K. Enigmatic Assassin, whenever you have 10 or more in soul, at the beginning of your attack step, you can bring her out. She'll get +5 if you have 10. If you have 15, she'll end up getting +10. So she becomes a 20K attacker or booster, just depending on what you need. I also run, and see, it really doesn't matter which order I put these ones in, my grade 3s, because I actually like them mutually. It doesn't matter which one you ride. New Scharhrot, if you have 10 or more in your soul and you proc darkness this turn, Vanguard or Rearguard, it gets the ability when it attacks, it gets +5 in the silent time skill, so your opponent can't guard with any grade 0s. When you stride on it, you soul charge 2, and then if you have 4 or more cards with darkness in your soul, your opponent chooses a Rearguard and nukes it. So if you need field control, he's really good. If you need a Rearguard to add extra pressure with, you know, extra crits, extra power and shiz like that, to kind of, you know, force your opponent into throwing out P-shields a little bit earlier, it's actually really good too. I played against somebody, they ended up throwing out grade 1s and grade 2s just to get around it, to not have to drop a P-shield. So I was happy about that. And then Glenzin Vampire, love him too. He has a GB1 skill, Darkness. If you have 6 or more in soul, you can proc his ability, take a darkness from your hand or your field, put it into the soul, and you can draw a card. Then if you have 10 or more, well, 15 or more, you can countercharge 1, and then your opponent ends up nuking something on their side of the field. You actually get to choose, which I really like. And then it also has a Vanguard or Rearguard ability. Counterblast 1 when it's placed. Look at the top 5. You can put however many darkness units out of that top 5 into your soul, and he gets +1,000 power for each one. Now, he's good on a Vanguard. There's been some games that I've won. I never even hit Scharhrot because I didn't need to, because I was constantly countercharging, constantly drawing a card, and constantly feeding back into my soul. So when I needed to, say, proc more enigmatic assassins, I could easily do it. I'd bring it out, assassin would get her power up, then at the end of the turn, I'd pop her back in, draw a card, countercharge 1, and then set up for the next turn. I've been thinking about putting this to 4 of, but that means I'd have to tweak my grade 1 lineup. And I like it how it is. I really like it how it is. All right, grade 2. I run 4 Brennan Vampires, GB1. All you have to do is have a Scharhrot Vanguard, and you can either be on the grade 3 or ride the grade 4, or stride the grade 4. It doesn't matter. When it attacks, you counterblast 1. Of course, like I said, you have to have a Scharhrot Vanguard. This card gets +5, +1,000 for each card in your soul. Then at the end of the battle, it goes into your soul and you draw a card. It's really good for pressure. It's really good to add soul if you do need more soul to possibly proc other abilities in the deck. Now, these 1 counterblasts, these can easily be mitigated with, if not Vampire, with another card I'm going to show you. I love this card. I'm sad that he was like $5 when I got him, but eh. I also run my baby Executioner, really good. When placed, look at the top 7, choose a darkness unit, put it into your soul. Then it has an act ability, Counterblast 1. If you have X amount in soul, I believe it's 6. Yeah. If you have 6 or more in soul, it gets +2. Then if you have 10 or more, it gets +3. So it becomes a 14K very easily with how the deck works. Something when I first started playing the deck I didn't pay a lot of attention to is a lot of times I'll have so much open free counterblast when I soul charge, I'll just purposely do that to constantly make him a 14K, 14K, 14K. to force the extra cards out of their hand. And I may even throw a booster behind it to make it a little bit stronger if need be. I also run 3 Covetous Succubus. When you place it, you counterblast 1. And then I always got to get these damn things right. If you have 6 soul or more, you can countercharge. Well, you soul charge 1. Then if you have 10, you can countercharge, draw 2 cards, take 1 card from your hand and discard it. It's good for cycling. It's good for countercharging because she's basically free. And it's good for setting up other cards. Later game, she honestly just becomes kind of a dud card. You don't ever use her for anything else. There's no need for her. But she's good to drop for effects and other costs. I like doing that. All right, grade 1s. 1 Stride Fodder, just because I never really use her to search out my Scharhrot. I don't really ever need to, so I leave that as is. And since we're talking about the Stride Fodder, I'll talk about the other Stride Fodder too. Were Tiger Jaeger, amazing, everywhere, shape, and form. I actually got to get more of the SP ones, so if anybody got some out there, please hit us up. I need 3 more. It can be used as a Stride Fodder. Along with that, when you soul charge it during your turn, you counterblast 1, draw a card. Then it has an act ability where you can counterblast 1, discard a card, and then you soul charge 1. And then if you have 6 or more in soul, you can add him back to your hand. So if you ever need a Stride Fodder, he comes back. If you want to proc other skills, other abilities that put him in the soul, you draw a card. Like, he's such a plus card for all the right reasons. And then P-Shields. I actually run 3 Closet Balloon. P-Shield skill can guard anything on the board. That's what makes it really good. Also, if you have 10 or more cards in your soul and you have a copy of him in your soul, when you P-Shield with 1 from your hand, you can draw a card. So you P-Shield, drop a card, got 10 or more, proc the skill, draw a card. So it's basically only dropping this 1 card to block an attack. And then he has the Darkness ability that if you have X amount in soul, he becomes an AK booster. So it's like, it's all right. I never use that ever. And then also use Avarice. The only reason I use Avarice is in case I have, say, a starter because I cycled it back in and I need to nuke it, or a grade 1 that I don't need. You can pop it during generation break, kill that, and you can add this card to your hand. It's also a P-Shield that guards stuff, so it's no problems there. I run 4 Listings Vampire. I see some decks, they only run 2 to 3, and I don't understand that, but I'm guessing maybe just their playstyle is different, so I guess I understand. GB1, if you have a card with Darkness on your Vanguard, you can guard with this, take 1 card from your hand, put it into your soul, and tutor any other card from your soul to your hand. So if you need P-Shields, you get P-Shields. If you need your starter back because you want to set up a potential turn, you get that back. If you need a grade 3 because you have nothing else to do, you get your grade 3s back. If you need to wear Tiger Jaeger because you didn't play your turn right and you need something to stride with, you got that too. If you need an attacker or something else to filter through the deck, you can get that too. It's fucking amazing. It does everything. All right, go to the grade 0s. I run 4 One-Eyed Succubus. It's the crit for Scharhrot. When you attack, put it into soul, gain +5, draw a card. Now, something that I've learned, and I've never really dealt with a lot of decks that restand because this is not what any of my main decks really do, but this only lasts until the end of that battle. So once I swing with my Stride, that restands, it only get that +5 to the end of the battle, so you have to learn to kind of play around that. Also, the moment you declare an attack, this proxis goes into the soul, and you get +5, you draw a card and everything. So if you're low on your soul and you want to proc some of your stuff, if this would give you that 1 card to put you where you need to be, proc this first, put it in the soul, boom. It's good. It's real good. Now, Monochrome Nightmare Land. Love this fucking card. This helps mitigate a lot of the, singular counterblasts that are in the deck, so you can push a little bit harder if you need to. There's certain turns where I'll get these and I'll just loop them just to build my soul and the counter charge and to draw one, and I just keep going, and just keep going, thin the deck out, and then go into my big plays. But its ability is activate, put it on the top of your deck, shuffle, soul charge 1. Then if you have what I believe is 6 or more, if you have 6 or more, you can counter charge 1. If you have 10 or more in your soul, you end up drawing a card. So this is why, like, y'all hear me saying sometimes, because sometimes you have to look. Sometimes it's 6 or more, sometimes it's 10 or more, sometimes it's 15 or more, and then they made a new card that's 13 or more. Like this clan, but it's really good for setting up combos, really good for soul charging, and I'm glad that I run 4 of them, so in case I ever go into any restand plays, I can always use some of my Scharhrots a little bit better. Also run 4 Dark Knight, Nightmare Land, crit trigger, put into the soul, give something +3. 4 of the G guard for the specific G guard. Now, I run this because it's amazing. Sometimes I will G guard with the G flipper G guard just to put this in soul, just to set up. Some people may frown on it, but I don't care. This is how I win. I do weird things sometimes because I don't want a G guard to throw this away when I have a stride that allows me to put all of my triggers back in. So I'll G guard with this, put out the G flip, and be good. Excuse me. All right, on to the stride zone. Saint Germain, I actually really like him. I used him and I took him specifically in here for Virgil, for his D police, because I hate D police, fuck D police. But when you place it, once again, I got to get the stuff right. If you have 10 or more, it gets plus 10k. Then if you have 15 or more, all your units, you can choose as many. They get Vanguard, Rear Guard, and Guardian. They all get resist. So if you're playing against, say, somebody that's going to nuke everything on your board that turn, or say, we'll go with D Police, because I, like I said, specifically for Virgil. He'd swing. I know he has plenty of grade 3s of guard break. I would drop a P shield, and then I drop a G guard. This G guard Germain, protect my P shield. I don't care if you break anything, you're not getting through. Sabnek is the next one. Pretty sure I pronounced that wrong. When your Vanguard attacks at you, Vanguard to Vanguard, you counterblast 1. And then after you counterblast 1, if your soul is 10 or more, you pay the cost. If you do, your Vanguard gets plus 5k, and then this gets plus 5k. And that 5k that your Vanguard gets stays on there to the rest of the battle, so your 11k becomes a 16k for the rest of the turn, making it easier to guard. Now, I think this hardcore punishes any deck that has a Vanguard attack first kind of setup, or if they're trying to extend certain combos, is actually really good. Also run the Flipper, Vincent. You guard with it, G flip something, soul charge 1, and then for every 5 that's in your soul, you end up getting plus 5k to your Vanguard. So it's basically, you get 1,000 per card, but they just got to be difficult sometimes. I mean, it's really good when you have a really big soul. It gets really strong, and it sets up your soul too in case you need to do stuff. Darkwing, run her too. Guard with her, soul charge 2, she becomes a 20k shield. Alright, strides, it's a breeze. People play grade 2 game, you don't ride another grade 2, I got you. One steeped in sin, Scharhrot. GB2, you counterblast 1 when it attacks, and then if you have 10 or more in soul, you put all your rear guards into your soul. All your opponent's stuff dies. Great. Then if you have 15 or more, you also get a guard restrict and the 10Ks. So like it's good. Really good. So if you ever need to play against something and their field's kind of iffy, play this card. Stride this card. Kill everything on their board. Get plus 10K and get a guard restrict. Your numbers can get stupid high, especially if you decide to do an enigmatic assassin turn and do all the nifty stuff you can do with your rear guards, and then swing with this, put everything back in the soul. It sets you back up for the next turn for another assassin play. Legeris, he is always my first stride, actually. Like possibly one of my favorite strides aside from the other one. Is Act Counterblast 1. You choose a card in your G zone and flip it, which more than likely will always be Sabrice. And you soul charge 3. If you soul charged a darkness unit, you can get a grade 3 from your soul added to your hand. And then for each individual grade that you soul charge, choose one of your rear guards, it gets +5. So if you soul charge a 1, 2, and a 3, you can choose 3 rear guards and they all get +5 for the turns. Really good. This also sets you up for that 10 in soul really quick. So on your next stride, you can go into this other stride. I'll talk about this one, I guess. GB8. He's there to be there. He's Jarvis fodder. When you stride him, for every 13 count that you have in your soul, everything in your front row gets +13k and a crit. So if somehow you get to 26 in soul, everything in your front row gets +26k and 2 crit. I don't ever really ride this. I don't really need to. But the few times that I have, it was always game that turn. All right. I run 4 Blittermouse. It's the re-standard. Act ability, you counterblast 1, flip a copy of him, well, auto ability. When he attacks, if you have 10 or more in soul, you can proc the ability. You also have to take 2 cards from your hand, put them into your soul. Then you take all grade 0s on your board, put them into your soul. You put all grade 0s from your soul and from your field back into your deck, shuffle your deck, and then this card ends up giving 2 units +5. At the end of the battle, after this unit first attacked, it stands, it loses 2 drive checks, so it's a single drive. It's amazing. This is actually really good with Scharhrot. A lot of times I'll have this on board. Scharhrot will swing for the 16, then I'll swing for this, counterblast, resolve all abilities. I almost always get a stand trigger because by the time I use him, I'm probably putting at the minimum 7 grade 0s back into the deck to proc other skills. And it just goes off really well. And if you don't ride the Scharhrot, still riding this is still a good ride to set up and help thin out, so then you have more crits and more opportunities to use it. Enigmatic Assassin is good to have, even though it goes back into the deck. That just means that the next turn, if you haven't already strode Scharhrot, you can stride Scharhrot, place them on the board, do all of that stuff, put them into the soul, set everything back up. I'm thinking about possibly bumping that up to 2. Really thinking about doing that. And then the last stride is 4 Gilderay. Act ability, flip a copy of him. If you have 10 or more in, he ends up getting +10k. Then if you have 15 or more, he gets a crit and the guard restrict if you're at GB3, technically. It's a real good pusher. It's a real good finisher if you do have Enigmatic Assassin. So you can pump this behind him. So it'd be a 36k base. If this came out with his full power, you're swinging for 56k. If you have the crit trigger, that ends up putting you to 61k, 2 crit, no grade 1 or higher. Like, it's a lot of good combos in here. Real good combos. I think that this deck does really well against the control matchup. Because, like I said, you're not really going to put a lot of rear guards on the board, so you don't really care quite as much. And the pressure that you pump out is a lot of times a lot stronger than whatever they're doing. I've even played against Link Jokers, and even Link Jokers locking my stuff doesn't matter because I still have Gilderays. I still have my Blittermouse. I still have this to set up the board. So it's like, and if I can't spam the board, that means I'll have more stuff for guarding and more stuff for soul charging, so I can still drop him GB8 to have a 29k double crit Vanguard that's swinging. So I think it's good. I like it. If you like the deck profile, please leave any comments, messages. If you haven't subscribed, you're doing yourself an injustice. Subscribe, hit that notification bell. We have more stuff coming. We're actually on a release schedule. Super Sundays for Dragon Ball Super fans out there. Thank y'all for the likes and all the information that y'all giving us on the vids. Is making us get a lot better. But we post on Sundays, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So probably going to up that up in a little bit. Definitely. All right, this is Toby. Team has to win. Shizzle. Yeah, Dark Irregulars. Dark Irregulars. Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared is the name of the deck, too, just for you guys to know. It's fucking amazing.